To create a cracked effect, let's say I want to take this cube and crack it and make it a bunch of different pieces. That can be a nightmare to try and do manually because it's hard to make things feel random. So what I would do is go under the effects menu, and then under effects there's the shatter effect. So if I open this up, let's do a solid shatter. This way it's solid pieces, and you can change the amount of shards you want, how jagged the edges should be, the seed or the random value to it. And then let's make sure that the original surface will hide the original surface. So I'm going to take this and let's hit create. And you'll notice, oh, an error occurred. The reason behind this is that you need to make sure you delete your history on this. Now there's no history. Oop, now it works. It doesn't work with history built onto the object. So with this, let's open up our outliner. And let's dock that to the side there. So you can see this is the original cube, this is the shattered object. And the shattered object is now separated into multiple pieces. There we go. Just randomly shattered. Now you'll see it's got this yellow material. This is just because it's to more easily show where the shatter took place. You can just assign a new material to that, or assign the same material. So Lambert, boop. Now it's all one piece. There you go. So that would be the way you could shatter something. So how do you do it for, let's say, you have someone smashing into the ground? Well, it's really just kind of cheating. I can just take a ground plane here, and let's say I want someone to crater right into the center. What I could do is I could take a polygon cylinder. Let's scale that up a little bit, something like that. And I'm just going to quickly modify it just so it's not a perfect cylinder. So let's kind of pull these out, maybe something like that. We'll just create a shape like this. Okay, and I'm just going to bring these ones down just a little, keep it flat. There we go. So with this, I'm going to go to Edit, Delete by Type, History, and let's go to Effects, Shatter, and let's make a few more pieces here and maybe tone down the edge jagginess, and just hit Create. Okay. Now, what happened? Look at this. Weirdness. Weirdness has happened. Basically what happened is that I didn't do the operation quite right. So my scale is too high. You'll notice my scale is up. So let's make sure I take this, modify, freeze transformations, that resets it there. Let's try again. Apply that, and actually, oops, gotta delete history again. Let's see if this will work. There we go. So whenever you're using this, just make sure you freeze transformations, delete history, or else you get either an error or weirdness. So what I can do now is, let's say the impact is going to happen on frame 10. I'm just going to take my solid shatter here. I'm just going to key its visibility. On frame 9 it'll be off, on frame 10 it turns on. And then on frame 10, I'm just going to take the individual pieces and just indent them into the ground. Something like this. So just kind of rotating everything towards the center there. And you can actually animate all these individual pieces. So now as whatever creature lands or crashes into the ground, you just get this, and you'd animate it coming up and then settling. That's it. Very rough, very basic, but it works. And you get something that feels like a random shatter versus trying to make it feel random yourself, which is always hard to do. Yeah, that's basically it. Now, if you want to go even further, for example, you want it to all feel like it crushed into the ground, you would just take this and lower it so that's inset onto the ground, and you would also need to animate the ground itself pushing in slightly. So, for example, pushing in this way, which you could do with a lattice deformer or clusters or a whole bunch of things. I tend to cheat it going up because it's just a little easier. But yeah, it would just basically be a little bit of animating there. So that's pretty much it. Not too much more on that. Can I add physics with rigid body? Yeah, so you can definitely add simulation to these and get rigid body simulation if you wanted. That would be no problem. And then you would be able to have this explode out and then just kind of crumple down onto the ground if it was to explode, if you wanted it to do that.